everyone, so today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different and having a go at a guitar lesson for my solo that I played in my cover of KALEO's Way Down We Go. So this video's gone mad. It's got over 58,000 views, which I'm really grateful for, and thank you to everyone that's watched it. I've done a part 1 of the solo, which was just a tab video a few months ago now. And I wanted to have a go at teaching you firsthand the second part of the solo by going through my thought process and just trying to explain how I played it rather than just teaching you the notes. So I've had a few comments asking for this video, and sorry it's been a while, but it takes me so long to tab anything out that I thought I'm just going to pick up my guitar and show you firsthand. So yeah, let's dive right into it. Right, so the first phrase of the solo starts with a big slide, just coming out of the previous bit of the solo. Starts big slide just from nowhere to nowhere, and then sliding back into the root note, so the B flat. So this whole solo is based around the B flat minor pentatonic, all around that, and just uses a few extra boxes around that. So the first phrase is which is exclusively this box up here, between the 4th and the 6th fret. So it's big slide, slide into the 6th fret on the E string, and then it goes so back between the 6th fret, 4th fret, and then up to the 4th fret on the A string. So that's the first phrase, and then from there we go into this little sort of pedal note lick, which is something I use quite a lot in this solo, as I've realised relearning it now. So play the first phrase, and then the second phrase goes into so it starts on the 4th fret, and you pick, hammer onto the 6th fret, and then slide into the 8th fret. So it's only one pick, but you do 2 different techniques to get to the 8th fret on this. So, and then land on the 6th fret of the D string. So that whole bit is, and then play the root note again up the octave, which is the 8th fret of the D string. And then from here you're working up the notes of the pentatonic scale. So you go from the C sharp to the 8th fret, and then the F here, and then the G sharp. So you go between the root and those notes. So you go, so between those, that whole phrase is and then a big unison bend from the 8th fret. You also play the 6th fret on the B string with this, and the idea is you bend this string up to this note, which is the same as this note, and then you get a unison sound of. So yeah, so the whole thing there is heavy vibrato to end that phrase. So moving into essentially part 2 of the solo, we have a little phrase in this box up here from the 11th fret of the B, the 9th fret of the B, the 11th of the E, and the 9th of the E, yeah, up the top. So it goes, so that is 11, 9, 11 on the B, and then you play the 9th with a tiny little bend, just like a little blues bend there, and so you just play that little phrase, and then play the same again, but you end it with a sort of half-tone bend on the 11th fret. So that phrase is the start of the next section of the solo. And then we move into a descending bit, which is something inspired by amazing guitarist Chris Buck, and he does a lot of micro slides, I like to call them. So it's that sort of thing, and they're really good for adding sort of a vocal sense to your soloing, and also really good at just adding some extra sort of technique. So coming out of this, you play the 11th again, and you work back into the first position of the pentatonic. So you go 11 to the 9 to the 6th fret, and then from the 8th fret you have that little phrase I was talking about earlier. So you briefly slide up to the 9th fret and then back down to the 6th fret. So that whole bit is so the whole phrase. So the next bit is just play it. It's a little bluesy phrase. Play from the 6th fret to the 8th fret, and then you continue working down. So it's so you essentially play the same thing down an octave. So you play this bit from the 8th fret, 9th fret to the 6th fret, from the 6th fret to the 8th fret, and then you play from the 8th, 8, 6, and then 8 on the A string, and then you do another one of the micro slide phrases. So the whole thing from there is and then you end with 4 sort of alternate picks on the 8th fret, which is back to the root again. And the reason I like using the root is because it feels like you come home before you start playing the next phrase. And I also mute this a little bit, just using your palm, a little bit of palm muting. And then we're into the third section of the solo. So the third section of the solo, coming out of that section, goes into another one of the pedal note phrases, and it sounds like this. So you basically keep that note running throughout and work up a lower octave of the B flat minor scale using this position, which is the position behind it. So this one goes between the 8th fret and the 4th fret of the A, 6th fret of the A, and then 6th fret of the D as well, and then back to up to the 4th fret of the A string. So that whole phrase. And then back to the phrase that we did earlier, which is starting on the 4th fret. So with the hammer on and then the slide phrase, and then up to the 6th fret of the D string, and then back into a similar pedal note phrase to the one that we played earlier, but this time we skip out the D sharp on the G string. So we play so back through that bit. So both of those together. Yeah, the solo ends on big unison bend, same as the one before, from the 8th fret of the G string and the 6th fret of the B string. Ends on that, and then you slowly bring it down and it works its way back into the lovely chords. So yeah, thank you for watching, and hopefully that has been helpful. Like I said, if you do have any questions or would like to see any other lessons, leave them in the comments, and thank you for watching.